Adam Ikuda here with a little all-out blitz, Week 6 edition of Trade Bait and Stardom Sit-em. As always, like our YouTube channel and check out all the content on the Phantom Fantasy Football page. Let's dive right in with some guys to grab, led by Josh Gordon and this guy, Baker Mayfield. Mayfield's been very good in his starts this year. The Browns have now won 2 games, and look at his upcoming schedule. Chargers, Bucks, Steelers, Chiefs, Falcons. That's a murderer's row of defenses you could expose. I think Mayfield goes over 300 yards in a handful of those games with a couple of touchdowns. This is really going to be his coming out party and a huge opportunity to put some serious points on the board for you and your team. So I would go grab Baker Mayfield. Then there's Josh Gordon. You saw what he could do again in that huge catch on Thursday night from Tom Brady as seen here. It looks like he's motivated. It looks like he's happy. It looks like he's on the straight and narrow. So for me, grab Josh Gordon. Expect some wide receiver 2 upside moving forward. Speaking of wide receiver 2 upside, there's Jordy Nelson. 3 straight games with a touchdown. The Raiders play no defense, so they will play in plenty of shootouts. They like to chuck the ball all over the field. And with the lack of a running game, especially in the red zone, Jordy Nelson will be the serious option for those targets, as we saw last week, as he caught a touchdown in the red zone. Then there's some guys to deal, and some surprising names on this list, including Robbie Anderson, James Conner, and this guy, Eric Ebron. Ebron had a great game against the Patriots on Thursday night, scored a touchdown, had a bunch of catches. But remember, there was no Jack Doyle and no T.Y. Hilton. In a year where all the tight ends are getting hurt, like Tyler Eifert, Delaney Walker, and Greg Olsen, I would seriously consider moving Ebron, selling high, and streaming a tight end moving forward. You could certainly improve your team that way. Then there's Robbie Anderson. Prior to his breakout game against Denver, he only had 1 touchdown catch, and that was in Week 1 against the Lions. This week, only 3 catches. Yes, a couple big plays, but if there's an owner out there looking for that big play ability, I would certainly look to move Robbie Anderson. Then there's a curious case of James Conner. Yes, Le'Veon Bell might be traded still. Yes, Le'Veon Bell may come back to the Steelers. But for me, after another breakout game for him against the Falcons where he ran all over them, look to sell high on James Conner for a more reliable back that you know is going to be there and be the starter all season long. Now let's look at some guys to start and some guys to sit. On the starting side, I like Cameron Brate, Jameis Winston, Wendell Smollett, and Calvin Ridley. But let's go to Thursday night and Wendell Smollett. He seems to be the starter heading into this week against the Giants. The coach has named him first when talking about replacing J.J., who's out for the season. So to me, Wendell Smollett's the guy I would play and feel comfortable playing on Thursday night against the Giants. And then there's Ridley. Against a terrible Tampa defense, not to mention his own terrible Atlanta defense, this game has shootout written all over it. Ridley was held out of the end zone against the Steelers, but I think he returns there with a huge game against Tampa Bay this week. Then there's some guys to sit. Mitch Trubisky and Andrew Luck are the 2 quarterbacks that I'm looking at to bench this week. Trubisky's coming off that 48-point explosion against the Bucks and that 6-touchdown performance from 2 weeks ago. But on the road in Miami, I don't trust him in that spot. The Dolphins are hungry after 2 straight losses, and something tells me Trubisky may struggle a little bit on the road. And then there's Luck. Look, his weapons, we know, they're hurt. T.Y. Hilton and Jack Doyle. His best receiving option right now is Eric Ebron or Nyheim Hines out of the backfield. The Jets played really well against the Broncos last week, so to me, if you have a better option, I would certainly consider sitting Andrew Luck. Then there's Adrian Peterson. He was taken completely out of the game plan against the Saints, and now he's got a dislocated shoulder. They say he's going to play or give it a shot. To me, it's much too risky this week where there are better options out there, so bench Adrian Peterson wherever you can. For much more analysis throughout the week, check out the Phantom Fantasy Football page as well as our YouTube channel for plenty of videos throughout the week and coverage as we get you ready for Week 6 in the NFL. Have a good one.